We're here with DK, with Chris Carter from DK on Pittsburgh Sports, and we will keep you posted about the Penguin game as they start the second period. But we're talking about the NFL. You look at the other games, and I think it's amazing how much better the NFC games are than the AFC games.
Yeah.
And I think really it comes down to one thing. Very simple. We say it all the time. Matt Ryan against Jared Goff. Cam Newton against Drew Brees.
Yep.
You've got Tyrod Taylor, Blake Bortles. Marcus Mariota has, I think, got a chance to be okay.
No. He's been overhyped, and I think until he calms it down and reels himself back into a system, I think he's going to be a bust.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think he has a chance.
He has a chance, but you know what?
Well, my point is, right now he's not very good, and you got Alex Smith. I mean, when Alex Smith is the best quarterback going,
you're in trouble.
In the AFC, that's the problem with the AFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it all the time. It really that league is really a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough good ones, especially on the AFC side. You look at the NFC. I'm telling you, if Jared Goff and now Garoppolo, I mean, that could be, And they've got Carson Wentz. They've got three of the best young ones too.
And I like the way Case Keenum played this year for the Vikings. I mean, there's a lot of potential over there. But think about this with the AFC. Since 2001, there have been only 2 seasons in which a team that's led by Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning has been the team that represented the AFC in the Super Bowl. That's 17 years where those 3 quarterbacks have dominated the conference, and that speaks to.
And they're both Ravens, right?
Well, Ravens and the Raiders, where they had Rich Gannon.
So, wait a second.
Well, the Raiders were if I went back to 2000, yes, the Ravens would be twice.
Right.
But I'll say if we started in 2001 when Tom Brady took over and made the Patriots, it's been those 3 quarterbacks out of the AFC. And virtually you'll have your upstart Ravens in 2012, and you had those Raiders that were good for a time, and that was like their best season. They just couldn't get over the hump because they ran into their own coach in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely. This is a quarterback-driven league. The AFC has shown that these 3 guys run the show over there. Whereas in the NFC, you've had some contested. Drew Brees got derailed by the whole Bounty Gate thing. I think that they would have gone to another Super Bowl or 2 had Sean Payton not been removed from the team and they've been sort of dismantled the way the NFL should have done to the Patriots when they were busted doing their events. But that's another story. But, I mean, you look, Cam Newton is a guy. There's a lot more competition over there with those top guys, and no one's really proved who's top dog.
So, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Brady's been to 7 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Peyton Manning was 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ben's been to 3.
Yep.
So that's 14.
That's 14.
14 of 15, right?
Yep.
Or 14 of 16.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's a lot.
And you know what? It's going to be 15 of 17.
Yeah, because it's going to be Steelers Patriots.
One of those 2 is going to get there. I mean, and I think that, you know what, the Steelers have a really good chance. But the game tomorrow, I think the Saints-Carolina game could be interesting. I think that's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best game might be that Rams game.
Oh, that's the game of the week, right?
I mean, the Falcons and the Rams, Jared Goff in his first playoff game, you don't know how he's going to respond.
Right.
You've got Aaron Donald and company coming after, Matt Ryan. The Falcons are kind of a crafty team. Every time you kind of write them off, they find a way to win games.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think that's going to be the best game. I could see the Falcons winning that game.
I could see that. That's my only 50-50 game of the week. I'm picking the home team in every game. But this one, I don't know. I mean, Todd Gurley sells me. Aaron Donald and that defense sells. Mark Barron's a very good cover linebacker, and I think he could help neutralize Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman out the backfield. Oh, look at that. The Penguins scored. No, they finally did. First time.
The Penguins got a goal.
Hey, it's 1-0 with 19 minutes to go in the second.
They got 3 more to make my bold prediction
there you
correct.
go. But you're absolutely right. This is the game because the Falcons have an aggressive defense. They're going to get after you. They're going to get physical. But so do the Rams. And I think this could be the determinant because also if the Falcons win, they're gonna go to Philly and they'll smack the Eagles. I guarantee you that. Like if the Falcons win this game, they're gonna go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is not gonna know what to do, and Matt Ryan's gonna be back in the NFC Championship game. Probably, in my opinion, it's gonna be either Drew Brees or Case Keenum. That's gonna be my game of the NFC playoffs. Who wins Saints Vikings? Because I think that's the game to look at.
Interestingly enough, what are your thoughts on Cam Newton?
I think he's a very talented guy. He's excitable. He's good to be around. I think he needs weapons, and I think he needs to rein himself in sometimes. He likes to, his personality has gotten him so much. When you saw him at Auburn and when he would score and he would just play to the crowd, he loves that. But it makes him better because he thrives on that, and that's been who he has. I mean, this guy, he was giving out free turkeys at Thanksgiving last year, and he was looking awesome, and the kids were all on him. You gotta love that part of Cam Newton. He's so much fun to watch. The way he played with Clay Matthews instead of, oh, you've been watching film, huh? Watch this. Those type of things you love about Cam Newton. But the moments like when he talked about the woman reporter that he did, the moments when he sort of gets upset with the media, and it's not his fault because everybody gets upset. Tom Brady gets upset and no one really talks about it. Ben Roethlisberger talks about retirement and people talk about it, but people don't like heave on him and say, oh, Ben Roethlisberger is immature. Cam Newton, every time, I mean, in that Super Bowl, what people forgot when they lost to the Broncos and he wasn't hearing it, they had positioned him, and I had never seen this in a Super Bowl as far as media coverage, and I've never been to the Super Bowl, but when I've watched a lot of press conferences, they positioned one of the Broncos defenders right next to him. And he was talking so badly. He was like, we knew everything they were going to do. And he was just talking about Cam Newton. And Cam Newton's like, man, I lost the Super Bowl, and I got to hear this guy over here. I don't want to take these questions. And I see that getting to a young guy. And again, I'm not saying it excuses him, but I can see a reason for it, and no one even brought that up. No, it was made to be. I think Cam Newton is a premier quarterback, but the Panthers need to get him some weapons.
He does need some weapons, but here's the problem I have with him.
What's up?
There are some games where it's feast or famine.
I agree.
You know, they win the game 21-17 because he makes two big plays with his legs and maybe a big play with. But then you look and he's like completed 40-some% of his passes, and it's like I think he's got to become more consistent, throwing the ball and making plays and moving his team.
I agree.
Maybe weapons have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, one to take the pressure off him. I remember watching that Panthers Broncos Super Bowl, and he just looked so uptight. I mean, the first ball he threw, he just zipped it with all power, no touch, and it was a good throw, but it was thrown so hard his receivers couldn't hang on to it. And when you don't have Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr. or Julio Jones, one of those superstar kind of guys, you're gonna put out balls out there that hurt your team. And I think that they need someone to lighten the load. Christian McCaffrey may be part of the answer, but as far as what they're doing right now, I think he needs more help. I don't see them beating the Saints. The Saints swept them for a reason. And I know it's very tough to beat a team 3 times in the same year, Paul, but man, that Saints team with Marshawn Lattimore in that secondary, he's having a heck of a rookie year. You know, for many Steelers fans that feel that T.J. Watt was the snub of, defensive rookie of the year in the NFL, go watch the tape on that guy. He's the truth.
Yep. I mean, again, to me, the AFC's got a problem because there's not enough good quarterbacks.
I agree.
And so I look at the NFC games this weekend, and I say that, there you go, 2-0.
Uh-oh, they're halfway to your bold prediction, Paul.
Power play goal, but looks like Malkin.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, looking at the Saints game with Carolina, it's interesting. Most people think that the Saints are still this team that throw the ball over. They're actually a really good running team.
Yep.
That's got a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you've got maybe a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Who knows when to throw the ball right.
That, to me, makes that team really dangerous.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing is that Drew Brees, he doesn't make dumb mistakes. He doesn't try to be the superhero. He knows how to play his role. But especially when you have Mark Ingram who can power run it, and then you have Alvin Kamara who could take it not only out of the backfield, but who can run it as a receiver and give you easy options and then break loose for you. That makes their job so much easier over there. And then Michael Thomas, not a fast guy, but he's a bigger receiver that could go up and win those combat catches. They are in a really good position to win. The Tariq Armstead is a very good left tackle, maybe the best in the league right now. But man, I really think that the Saints are my horse of the NFC right now. It's either them or the Vikings. Those are the two teams that I'm picking to represent the NFC. Just like I'm picking the Steelers and the Patriots.
Yeah, I think a lot of people believe this might be the year that the Steelers can go up there and win. The one thing I will say, some people think Jacksonville is going to come to Pittsburgh and win.
Yeah.
I don't see any chance of that.
They're not the Steelers aren't the same Steelers that they beat back in week 4 The Steelers, when you look at how the Steelers were playing them, the offense was so inconsistent. The defense really kept them in that game. The Jaguars scored two touchdowns on defense, and that really opened up everything for their offense. The offense really didn't have to do anything creative. If Ben Roethlisberger comes in and puts up 17 points in the first half, and he has one of those multiple touchdown games and doesn't turn the ball over, the pressure's going to be on Blake Bortles to succeed. And let's see what he does in an away game, in an away playoff game, and see how what that environment's like. Because he's thrown 5 picks in his last 2 games. I wouldn't be so confident he just flip it around. They'll beat the Bills because the Bills have no one right now.
Right.
They're going to be happy to be there, just like the Jaguars are happy to be there. But once the Jaguars go to Pittsburgh, it's going to be a long day for Blake.